Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And again, welcome to your AM Awakening, the weekend edition with myself, Mullah Fudail Jones. Our segment this morning of Nafsopathology with Kareem Maliki. We greet Sheikh Kareem. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh Kareem is greeting you back.
Barakallah, barakallah. Allah Ta'ala bless you, inshallah. And as we mentioned last week, the concept of Nafsopathology speaks about the nafs, the soul, the ruh, and then also the emotional well-being of an individual. So again, this is quite a deep subject, but profound and important, this emotional well-being. So my question this morning is essentially with regard to should you prepare yourself for a tragedy that is going to come? How do you what qualities do you require, and how do you find yourself strong enough to deal with some type of event that is going to happen in the future?
So basically we're talking about building resilience. In other words, preparing so it would be easier to go through the life challenges, because in one way or another we're going to face challenges. In fact, one of the books, again, it's a book by Abu Zayd al-Balkhi, written many centuries before Freud, and he speaks about it because first part is about the ailments and diseases of the body, and second part related to emotions, diseases of the nerves. And he says that theoretically it's possible to imagine a person who will never have fever, who will never have headache, who will never have any kind of physical illness. But the nature of this dunya is that in one way or another we are going to go through emotions. We are going to experience anger, we're going to experience grief related to loss, we're going to experience fear and so on. So yeah, it's a worthy question. In the same way, people will try to think, let's say, how to avoid seasonal flu. Even more, we should be thinking how to avoid not just seasonal, but things which are happening on a daily basis, and they create certain emotions within us, and sometimes those emotions become unbearable, so they start defining our life, and we start making suboptimal decisions. So, yes, it is a $1 million question, really. What can we do? Well, in the ideal world, we should be growing up healthy so that we have resilience naturally. So in a sense that, because we need to understand that the same situations in different persons going to produce different response.
Yes.
So exact same situation, for example, divorce, passing away of a parent, losing job, or someone get, let's say, emotionally broken when, let's say, find out that his spouse is cheating on him.
Yes.
For example. But think of it, some people never actually were able to recover from it. And some people say that it happened to me and it taught me and it made me even stronger and more resilient. So that goes back to question why some people go through the same situation, yet they're able to go through it, and some people actually never able to, after they go down, they never able to rise. And for this, I don't have anything new to say. It all goes back to our childhood.
Okay.
In the ideal world, we should be, well, it would be ideal situation that we were growing up in a situation when we were given love. We were given love which is unconditional, because you realize that you are worthy because your mother loves you. And specifically, it's important to distinguish between mother and father, because mother loves despite, no matter what, and father loves you for certain achievement. But what's important is that mother comes before father. We know it from the sunnah. Mother, your mother, and then your father. So no matter how much you can say father is providing and your father is protecting and everything, mother comes first, and mother takes care of a child before the child is even born, when child is still in the womb. And that's why they say the word Ar-Rahman and the word womb come from the same root letters Ra, Ha, and Mim, because that's the highest manifestation of mercy. So mother loves child unconditionally, and then later it's time to grow up and start looking for your father's love, as Eric Fromm said in The Art of Loving, and I like this statement, that mother is giving you confidence and your father is giving you competence.
Okay.
So, and that's very important that confidence is given unconditionally because, again, it's a part of neurotized thinking. And this is unfortunately the thinking of our age where we believe that we are only worthy if we are achieving something, if we are successfully accomplished, let's say, a project, we have managed to get a good career, degree, or I don't know, you own a house or car, whatever, and then you are worthy, and then you are someone in this life. In reality, it's exactly other way around. It's because you are worthy, you are able and you are free to pursue all those things because you are worthy individual, and as a part of your worthiness, you are pursuing your happiness. You're already happy now, but as a part of you being happy is doing what you love, and because when you're doing what you love, you're doing well. And you found something which other people benefit from, and that's how essentially you're giving value, and people give you back, and now you're able to live your happy life. But unfortunately, today it's exactly other way around. People believe I have no worth. Problem with self-esteem, and then people try to compensate for this low self-esteem with the financial gains, with being famous, with being acknowledged, and so on. But in reality, it will never be enough because the hole is deep inside, and you cannot just cover up with this facade of outward success, because it all goes back to the childhood when mother is depriving child from love, care, concern. How can you, when mother say, I'm not going to be happy with you, I don't love you, basically, until you're going to do your homework, until you're going to get top marks in a school, not always explicitly like this, but implicitly, by depriving emotion of love, which children needs, because children need mother's life to survive. It's on a level of instinct. It's yet before any logical comprehension. When we are children, we are emotional. You can look at children; it's a little animals, literally.
Yes. Yeah, I had a thought when you were speaking. The new younger generation, they have a very active social media life. And so in life, like Sheikh mentioned now, the fact that in life you essentially looking for validation, you're looking for love, so you do things so that you can receive that praise and that love from your parent. So on social media, essentially you're putting on a post, you're putting on your status, and no one responds. Now a person that has a self-worth, it doesn't matter if people respond or not. This is me just putting out something, information, what I feel funny, or I feel is important. It's if I know my self-worth, it doesn't matter if people like it or watch it or share it, whatever. But if that is the means of my validation and no one likes it, no one shares it, me as a parent now see my daughter coming and she's grumpy, she's sad, she's grieving, and I can't understand why, because nothing happened. She just went into her room, spend a few minutes, they come out, now she's suddenly in a depression or whatever else. I don't know what happened. She tells me it's because no one liked my video. What must I do now?
Okay, let's not have it a consultation session. Because it's not going to be individual. I'll just make a few general statements, and you will find the way which you feel works for you. Well, there are two types of engagement, or two types of showing your creativity, let's say, on social media. There are people who love what you do, like what you mentioned. They are expressing themselves. They enjoy the process of expressing themselves, and eventually, and you will find it fascinating, they will find what they call their tribe.
Yes.
Because they're being authentic.
Yes.
Yeah, and it actually does not even matter how, you see, how deep and how knowledgeable and how fluent they are in their art, because people want to connect to them personally.
Yes.
Because if you will find, for example, when people talk about, if you think, for example, chef, people say Gordon Ramsay, for example, right? Yes. But he's not the best chef.
Yes.
But he has outstanding personality, and people relate to him, and people relate to him for being authentic. We don't know what is he authentic or is he pretending, it doesn't matter, but people relate to certain image. So let's say if a person, in whatever capacity, in whatever field, in whatever industry, just projecting himself with confidence, with authenticity, people will like it, and people going to follow. And then if person will say, I'm an expert and I'm offering such and such service, people going to pay their money. So that's how it is supposed to be.
Yes.
And then you have people who are doing the exact opposite. I feel like I am not worthy, with self-esteem, but I'm going to compensate for the self-esteem with external validation. Now, this is never gonna work. Why it's never gonna work? Because those beliefs are unconscious, they are deep, they're on emotional level. And the problem is it's very difficult, nearly impossible to work with our emotions rationally. You can't just say, well, I should not be sad because there is no reason to be sad.
Yes.
It's work other way around. I'm feeling sad, and because of this, I find all the reasons to be depressed.
Yes.
Isn't it? So logically, you cannot say, I am worthy because I have just received 50 likes or 100 likes or shares or whatever, or followers. But the way it works, and that's why it works like addiction in a sense, because first you got, let's say, I don't know, 100 likes or followers or whatever. In that moment, for a short time, you got a relief. But then next time when you're going to upload and post and share something, 100 responses won't be enough. You will need 200, and there is 500, and there's 1,000, and you can become literally a celebrity. And that same sense of being a celebrity still not going to heal you from your self-esteem. And by the way, it should not. It would be strange. It's a fascinating thing how some people say that, have this belief that I am unlovable, but somehow they decide to become famous, because when I'm famous, I'm going to receive all the love in the world. But it doesn't make sense, because when you're gonna be famous, that's exactly the most difficult thing to receive love, because then whoever is going to, let's say, asking for your signature, asking for a selfie, they don't want to interact with you. They're not offering anything to you. They want to take something from you. Isn't it? That look at me, I am rubbing shoulders with celebrities. So it actually doesn't even make sense logically to try to become famous to get love. Rather, you have to get love before you become famous, because then, you know, these people are your true friends. And it's unfortunate situation when we have emotional problem and we try to deal with it logically. In a sense that I believe I am unworthy, but logically I'm going to try to convince myself that if I become a millionaire, suddenly I'm worthy individual. No, you need to become a billionaire. And that still will not be enough, because the thing is emotional, because back then in a childhood, maybe you have not received enough love from your parents, or whatever, something else has happened in your life, could be in school, maybe it's a bullying, it can be anything, maybe, I don't know, neighborhood, or whatever. Because what we need to understand, for the child, the size of the universe is very small. So when we are grown up, we understand that, for example, our interaction with colleague, it can be unpleasant. It's not going to break us into pieces. But for a child, if you say all children are laughing at me, let's say in kindergarten or school, it's not the same all my colleagues are toxic. For us, it means that the whole world is laughing at me. So if we have a hole in the identity, which is made, and the person unconsciously decided I am unworthy, it's not able to resolve it by means of kind of external achievement. And I think it's, in many things, it's what drives actually economy today. If you will consider it, people want to become consumers, even not that much for the sake of consumption, but rather showing others, see what I am consuming, what brands I'm buying, what phones I'm having, and so on. So we not even experience the world directly. That would be understandable. That it's not about I own a car. It's about, look, the car I own. So that's what's important. It's trying to deceive others, but first and foremost deceiving yourself, lying to yourself that I am worthy, but deep inside I believe you're not. So the easy solution, and it's really the easiest solution, is just working with your self-esteem to realizing that you are worthy. And surprisingly, is when you realize that you are worthy, you can achieve much more, making much less effort. Because when you are worthy, you are confident, you are not stressed, you don't have to live with that constant stress and pressure. What if I am going to become exposed? Because if, let's take this, we started speaking about the social media and this whole influencing industry. Lots of people, for example, say, I'm shy of camera, I am afraid of public speaking, and so on. Think of it for a second. There is this whole new industry, people become influencers, not necessarily millions of followers, maybe a few thousands of followers. And people start making contracts with brands to promote them and so on. But theoretically, anyone can do it, but very few people can. Lots of people cannot hold this pressure of just speaking in front of a camera. Why? Because people are afraid that they're going to be exposed. It's like there is fear of someone is going to tell you, where are you trying to go? You are not worthy. Correct. What are you claiming? What you think? You think you are smart? You think you are attractive? You think you are worthy? In other sense, go back in your place, shut up, and don't show off here. So we really can, open up opportunities for ourselves the moment we become confident, because actually we can have what we think we are worthy of in reality.
So Sheikh, one of the things I took from you, from the example and your explanation, is that we can't assess or fix a emotional problem with logic.
Absolutely.
So me as a parent can't tell the child, hey, that thing don't matter, man. Why are you going so on? It's just it's just a video, because if I'm looking at the logical, I need to kind of look at the fact that, look, emotionally there's something wrong, or there's something wrong. They're not confident enough. That's why they're looking for that validation. So I now need to kind of improve her self-confidence, or her self-confidence.
This situation, in this case, we can look at it from many angles, because one of the other things, if you're speaking about children, I don't know how old is your daughter, but if speaking about, for example, early teenage years, they are all, when you look at the early teenagers, and not that early even, teenagers actually, you find out that individuality or personality is still being built.
Yes.
So in many sense, you can speak of them as a tribe, like there's a one collective personality in all of them. So for them, it's very important to belong to something, to something bigger than themselves. At this moment, it can be a school team, it can be a class, a school, and whatever. And for example, if everyone is talking about it, and if everyone is competing how many likes and followers you have, well, even for a person who is a grown-up adult, is this, in this environment, that also going to become some kind of standards of competition. Really, it really takes a very mature and very, you could say, mindful person to say, look, I'm going to rise above your standards, which I don't believe so fulfilling and enlightening. I'm going to look at something, I'm going to talk about my destiny in eternity. I'm going to talk about my adult life. Really, that's a lot to ask from, let's say, a teenage girl. Right? So there is many angles. But most important thing is to understand that you can be worthy. You can be worthy, even though you don't have a like. And of course, there are lots of people don't even understand how those algorithms work. Because really, if we're talking about social media, especially most recent ones such as TikTok, there is a lot to do with gambling there. It doesn't necessarily mean that every person who is popular, he is the best, except that it won't be able to explain it logically, because what's important is emotional acceptance. But emotional acceptance, we need to remember, social media is fortunately not the only way to be accepted and not the only way to be worthy. We are still human beings. We still can interact to each other directly.
Sheikh, Jazakumullah khairan. Very, I enjoyed myself, alhamdulillah, and I think very beneficial. I think the one important lesson, couple of lessons that I learned, but one of the lessons is be your authentic self. Be your authentic self. May Allah Ta'ala accept, inshallah. Jazakumullah, Sheikh Kareem Maliki. May Allah Ta'ala reward you. And then we'll see you tomorrow again, inshallah.
Amin wa iyakum. Inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum.
That was Sheikh Kareem Maliki speaking to us about Nafsopathology. We will be breaking for some ads, and we'll be right back after the ads with our dua of the day. See you then.